Liftoff in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, welcome to the Body Mind Index. In this episode, I'm going to take on the highest point in the lower 48 states, Mt Whitney. So I want you to share this experience with me. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something from it. And I hope you give this consideration in your future. If not this peak, find your own peak. Please, if you would like, hit the subscribe button. It helps us stay motivated and keep bringing you episodes such as this one. And hit the notification bell so you're aware when an upcoming episode hits the airwaves. Thank you. Trip to Mount Whitney finally here. Everything is packed and ready to go. I'll be eating like a champ, only with fresh fruits and vegetables. Super excited about that. I'm also super excited that by this point, I made it to my first elevation for acclimation. Got to sleep in the car, better than the tent. Climate control, Tesla. It's got a camp mode. And these are the views that I get to enjoy from the vehicle. It was awesome. I never knew the Tesla was so good for camping, even though I had everything in the car ready to put up tent. I was at 7,600 feet in elevation. It was perfect when I decided to go back to Mammoth to stock up on a few other supplies. I met these friends while getting supplies. These guys are doing the Pacific Crest Trail, and it was a joy to meet up with them. After meeting them, I decided to get some training and spend some time hiking. Here, I ran into my first roadblock without crampons, which only meant I had to turn around and go the other way. And that's how I started putting in sort of 5 miles every day to get ready for the big day. This is the backpack my son bought me. Worked out really well. And Big Pine is where I camped, picked up elevation. By this point, a few days had passed and laundry was necessary. Things really start to smell. Also, this way, right here is where you start doing little stacks of rocks so you don't lose your way on the trail. You'll see what I mean shortly, where you can sort of hit a crossroad and lose your way. So what you do is you stack up little rocks like this, so when there are options on your way back, you find the way that you came. So this is another 5.5 mile day. Ran into a ton of running snow melt, which was amazing because the sound of running water is something that keeps me sane and happy on the trail. I just love this. Didn't realize how much snow there was on top of this mountain, so you'll see in a little while what I ran into on the big day. But on these short training days, I really picked up on the fact that there's a lot going on. Mamufuku, or whatever they're called. These soybean noodles are amazing, and when I would finish a big hike or a big train that day or a run, I would just go right into these noodles. They are delicious and heavenly.
I like it.
Went over, asked my friends if we can hike together for a little while, and it was amazing that they allowed me to go spend some time with them as they went back to the Pacific Crest Trail. Those guys that you just saw there, one of them had been on the trail for 3 years. The Indian gentleman had been on the trail for only a year, and these guys are doing some big excursions around the world. So I had a lot of fun meeting them.
Right now, all I'm thinking about is these 2 dates and these 2 tortillas that I'm going to polish so I have energy to get back down after this snow, miserable, suffering hike. Check this one out. It just gets better and better. Gotta keep going.
These are some of the things that you run into on the trail. Is all of a sudden you have a path and then it just ends and you lose sight of the trail. So you have to really rely on whatever sense you have and also your GPS. Lake Mammy, at almost 9,000 feet in elevation was awesome. And after that, hard, treacherous experience, back to those noodles. And the following day, I got my permit. Once I got my permit, I went to the Mt Whitney portal
to the store right now
to check things out.
Of the Whitney portal. And the reason I'm going to the store is just to try to gather a little information on conditions. I think it's always important to get whatever the latest information is from the people that are here, and also the stories that they're getting from other hikers. Look how pretty that is. A lot of snow melting, but I also heard that it snowed here quite aggressively last night, so I'm just going to walk up to the store and get that intel. There you go.
I love this metal tree. I had to take that image. And these are the views as you drive up towards the
London, I found an
Mount Whitney
alien
portal.
at Mount Whitney. Oh my God, it's scary.
On the way back, I met this friend. Just loved this little thing. Recovery meal after the training that day, where it became the Cinnabon-like burritos that I made. Burrito shells, or tortilla shells with almond butter and smashed banana on it. I swear if you put a little cinnamon in that, it would taste identical to a Cinnabon and so much better and healthier for you. So I put these things together one at a time, painfully, just to get them ready. I needed 15 to cover the 15 miles of hiking. I was gonna, actually over 20 miles of hiking that I was gonna endure, and total calories burned, calculated at around 5,000 calories burned. Fact of the matter is, at the end of the trip, I ended up burning close to 6,000 calories, measured by my Garmin watch. So I wouldn't have had, I didn't have enough calories to make it through the trip, but I also learned that these are really hard to eat, and to eat as many as I needed was overwhelming. So it's probably not the food I would take on my next trip. Here I'm ready to go, and leaving is about midnight.
All right, it's
Got to the trailhead, and here's what I had to say.
a.m. Sitting out here outside of the trailhead, getting my GPS watch ready, getting the All Trails app open on the phone, trying to see if all these things are going to operate off of satellite. The watch clearly is, but the phone, I don't know if it's going to operate off of satellite. So, yeah, just all kinds of different feelings going through. You know, you're out here by yourself, just kind of, I don't feel nervous or scared. Maybe I should, but I don't. Hoping that somebody kind of pulls up. It'd be nice to start the hike with somebody. But if that's not the case, just one step at a time, and we just keep moving. That's about all that's in my head right now. Just my gear is tight, organized. A lot of preparation has gone into this. More than I ever imagined. I didn't realize I can pull. I didn't know I had an engineer side of my brain. So I guess now I know. Some of my friends will be happy to know that, who are very engineerish, and they perform at such optimal levels because they handle everything from a practical way rather than emotional. They're very rational, and I think is contagious. So the ones that, you know who you are. Anyways, here we are. All right, that's about all I have to say about that. I hope Susan is sleeping soundly. I know that she was nervous, and that makes me feel bad that she's nervous about this. So I don't want her to be nervous. And yeah, in life we just have to do the things that make us happy, and we're all in this journey all by ourselves. So no matter what it is that you do, you have to realize that it is still one foot in front of the other. You're still in it by yourself, even if you're surrounded by people all the time. That doesn't mean that they're in your space. You know, you're in your own lane. So, for those of you who ever wanted to do something, find what it is and then just lean into it, and just one step at a time. It's always one step at a time, right? So, I'm not a prophet. I'm just a student, just trying to figure it out. All right. We're down to about 10 more minutes, and then we take that first step. It's cold as heck out there. I actually have 4 shirts on, 4 wool shirts, so I always can take off layers. I actually have 2 beanies on because when I came here last night, it was that cold. For efficiency's sake, this is something that my engineer friends will appreciate. For efficiency's sake, I have, 14 of these almond butter and banana burritos. I have 5,000 calories worth of food with me, because that's about what I will be burning today. And I have 4 out of the 15, well, they're 14 now because I just ate one. So there'll be a liter of water in my stomach when I take that first step, because we don't want to carry any extra water. I have 2 liters in the bladder, in the backpack bladder, not in my bladder. Then I'll drink a liter and a half, as much as I can drink. I already ate one of these beautiful little babies. Boy, it was delicious. And then I have 4 that I'm gonna put in my jacket pocket, again, for efficiency's sake. So every hour and a half, depending on the activity and the effort, I will be eating one of these as I walk. Stopping is not what you wanna do. You start to really cool off. And when you're 56 years old, cooling off is not a good thing. And then the other thing is you start to perspire, and perspiring is not good either. You start to get really cold. So the idea is to just walk at a certain pace, keep your heart rate low, as low as possible, so you don't produce a lot of sweat. So there is my story, and I'm sticking to it, and thanks for watching. Each other. We already passed Lone Pine Lake. Holy, so I guess any water that we get, we're gonna get from the streams that we follow, right? When we run out of water. All right, I'll repeat this for this portion, but V is the one that's gotten me this far. I ran into a big snag of snow right at the beginning, and just that one snow patch would have blocked me from even finding the path. So luckily he had already traversed that. He forgot his sunglasses. He had to go back to his car to get his sunglasses. So that was lucky for me that we ran into each other. And on the trail, running to people is the one thing that can save your ass. Thank goodness for V, now named Christopher Columbus by me. Bye. All right, so this did happen. Sun is rising. Oh, don't go down the hill with a pole. That would be sucky. I want to show you the moon. See if you can see that right over the mountain there. And then Mt Whitney. I see if you can see it from here. No, you cannot. It's blocked. It's on the other side of this mountain range, so we still got quite a bit to climb. We've been walking for about 4 hours, nothing but climb. Thank God for V, Christopher Columbus. He's great with his GPS. I don't think I could have found these trails. There's no way. So always on the trail, you learn that you need people. Can't do things without people. Boy, you sure become friends when you're on these trips. It's the best thing. I can think of when you come on a trip is making amazing lifelong friends. All right, howdy, here we go. We got another 5 hours to go. Bye. Not another, well, another 5 miles, 6 miles to go. We put in about close to approaching 4.5 miles. It's early. It's early. All right, I'm making the decision based on the conditions, based on the fact that I've run out of water, and it doesn't seem like there's a long way to go, but there's probably half a mile left to the summit, and without water, and at 13,250 feet, all you can do is take a step or two, and then you got to brake because the air is so thin. So no water. And then I tried to go pee and I couldn't go pee. So I think, if I remember, that's not a good sign when you can't urinate. And I've drank, I probably have a gallon of water that's gone through my system since I started. And I think I've only urinated once, and it was like 3 hours ago. And on the trail, you're supposed to urinate at least, I think, like 7 or 8 times a day, because you're supposed to just keep hydration on the forefront. So, all right, I think I'm going to sled down this monster. Well, sled would be on my ass all the way down, because there's no way you can step down this thing without rolling and tumbling down and killing yourself. So here we go. Got some people coming up. I don't know if you can see them. They look like little ants way down there. All right. I know Susan wanted me to turn around now, so here we go, Susan, turning around. That had to be one of the toughest decisions I've ever made. Now this is a source of water. Oh, by the way, I just picked up somebody's Gatorade bottle in the trail. What a jerk, huh? I'll bring that back to the trash can. But check this out. This is just a different situation now. Let's get a couple liters now. I don't have to grab any water. What do we got? Oh, almost 2 liters. I'll stirry pen this thing. And I put a liter in my belly, and then just head back to the barn. I have probably another 4 miles to go. Everything is sore. Just coming back down to that area that was dark on the way in, where there was a huge cliff on the right-hand side here. And it was really nice to finally come up to people who were just scouting the scene for their hike on the next day. Here I also realized that most of these folks coming up were doing this same climb in 2 to 3 days. They would go up and camp before they summit. So that's another lesson learned. I don't have to do it all in one day. I just was only able to find permit for 1 day. There it is. Headed home, just jamming out to my jams, Mark Anthony. And it looks like this plane is coming down, and when just when I thought this one was low, here comes his brother. It's crazy. I was just so happy to be headed home. This was a great way to end this trip. And shortly thereafter, this is what happens when I get home and what's waiting for me. So I told Susan, it literally feels like going from hell to heaven. Best thing ever.